Hey, what's going on, guys? Corey from Lion Dads back with the video for you. Today we're going to talk about overeating. Can you overeat on a carnivore diet? How to keep yourself from overeating? All that kind of fun stuff. But before we get into that, I want you guys to go down to the description and go to www.lion-dads.com and check out my free PDF on getting started with the carnivore diet. It's got everything you need to get started today losing weight with the carnivore diet. It's got a shopping list in there. It's got everything you need. Get in there, get down in the description, click the link, get that PDF, get started, and then like and subscribe and all that fun stuff to the video. So overeating, I think this is a pretty hot topic in the carnivore space. Overeating and its impact on weight loss. There is a lot of people when you come to a carnivore diet who will tell you that you cannot overeat on this diet. Oh, there's no possible way you can overeat on a carnivore diet. There's no, you're eating too much protein. It's too satiating. It's too this and it's too that. And it's just not something you can do. And let me tell you from experience, from a guy who's been on a carnivore diet for 5 years now, it's been about that long. Several years on a carnivore diet. I've done it just about every way. I've tried bulks. I've tried cuts. I've tried dirty style carnivore. I've tried lion diet. Basically, I've tried everything, done it all, ran experiments on myself, and not being able to overeat on this diet is absolute bullshit. I have done it myself. I have overate, and I have eaten too much, and I have gained weight easily. And anybody telling you that you can't do it has never seen me eat, that's for sure. They don't know how big my appetite is. I am, like I said, I've said on here a billion times, I am a bigger guy. I'm like 6'2 and a half, almost 6'3". At my heaviest, I was damn near 300 pounds. I have a big frame. I can carry a lot of weight. I can eat a hell of a lot of food. And I eat a lot more than most people do to sustain me. So that's just kind of the way it is. But I can put a lot of food down. I don't care what kind of food. I can put a hell of a lot of food down. Carnivore, no carnivore, be damned. So I have overeaten on this diet. I have gained weight on this diet. I have eaten thousands upon thousands of calories in a sitting on this diet. And it's just something that you can do depending on who you are. So that's one myth that I kind of want to just get out of the way and debunk and stuff like that. And I will, while acknowledging that yes, your carnivore foods are higher, typically should be if you're eating it the right way, kind of higher in protein, and satiating fats and stuff like that. It's still possible. It is still possible to consume excess calories. And also putting another myth in my last video, I think I talked about it. Putting a myth to bed that calories in, calories out doesn't matter. That's also bullshit. You can eat too many. You go into a calorie surplus, you are going to gain weight, and that's the way it is. So overeating will make you fat on a carnivore diet. It can happen. It can be done. Not as easy as it is eating a standard American diet, you know what I mean? And you'll gain weight a lot slower probably than you would on a standard American diet. You won't be able to eat quite as much. I'm not talking about sitting and eating like 6 pizzas in a sitting, which I can totally do if I'm not on a carnivore diet. But, you're still able to gain weight. You are still able to gain some extra body fat and overeat on a carnivore diet. So it's kind of important to me to take a look at the big picture, take a step back and look at yourself, look at your tendencies, look at your habits, and figure out if this is something that could affect you. And I think everybody should at least do their due diligence in taking a look at their eating habits and taking a look at their history and taking a look at their appetite. And if you have a big appetite or not. And look at, what your long-term success on a carnivore diet looks like and how you should approach that. Just because you can overeat on a carnivore diet doesn't mean I'm saying you shouldn't do it. I'll get that out of the way. You know what I mean? This is a highly nutritious, highly satiating, great way of eating for your health. So I totally advocate you doing it regardless if you're an overeater or not, because if you weren't on a carnivore diet, you would just go overeat on another diet that is not as nutrient dense as this one. So keep that in mind. I still think everybody should, give this diet a shot and see what it does for them. So like I've kind of talked about a little bit, I want to share some personal anecdotes with it. I have been able to overeat on this diet. I have done it. I have taken times where I'm like, I'm not going to, watch my calories, watch how much I eat. I'm kind of going to talk about, how I would kind of, just kind of do my thing, go about life, eating and things like that. And, just not paying attention to it. And I find myself kind of snacking certain points throughout the day where I'd sit and eat, salty pork rinds and things like that. I go, that's a carnivore snack, right? Pork rinds, but they're so salty, they're so delicious and palatable that I can sit there and house a whole bunch of them. It's like eating chips, you know what I mean? And lose myself in that. Or if I'm out and about and I kind of don't have lunch on hand, like if I was at my job, there's like a shopette, little kind of convenience store down in the lobby of my building, and I would go in there. They always had hot dogs on the roller, and if I forgot lunch that day or something like that, or needed a quick meal or something like that, I would just house a bunch of hot dogs. You know what I mean? Who knows what's in them? You know what I mean? If that, but they're not filling. They're processed meats. They're not that filling, and I would just eat them. Mostly fat, not a lot of protein. And you kind of can see how you kind of develop these habits. Maybe you're screwing around with ketogenic desserts that I talked about a couple videos back, and you're eating them like every day. You're replacing meals with like desserts, things like that. All these kind of different things, these kind of habits can add up to lead you to overeating. Whereas, sticking to the foundation of a carnivore diet, which is eating whole animal foods, you're eating your steaks, your ribeyes, your chicken, whatever it may be that you're like eating. You stick to those whole animal products from the store, from a butcher or whatever, you're probably going to be way more satiated. So that's something you got to keep in mind, when it comes to this and how you can end up overeating on this diet. So there's a lot of different strategies you can kind of do to prevent overeating. Like I just said, you know what I mean? Sticking to whole animal, like satiating animal foods, like eating steaks and things like that. Your whole one ingredient, one product, animal-based foods. Stick to those. You will probably be fine. We can always look at like portion control and stuff like that. Like how fast do you eat is another one. Eat mindfully, you know what I mean? Take your time to chew your food. I come from a military background, and that's a habit that you can develop really early on in a military career. In boot camp, for example, you barely get time to eat. You're like sitting there like trying to scarf your food down to get enough, because as soon as you sit down, they're screaming at you to get your ass up and get outside. So I would learn how to just house food really fast, and I really do think that that's where this kind of came from, this ability to overeat, because I'd eat so fast. I'd still be eating before the signal, or I'd eat so fast that the signal to my brain to tell me I'm full, there wasn't time for that, and I would still be eating food. So you got to think about that kind of stuff. Eat a little more mindfully. Take time to like sit and slow down and chew your food. And something that's not easy. Something I've definitely had to train myself to do, and I still have to catch myself from time to time eating too fast. But that's it's a strategy that definitely works, and I would recommend you guys give it a shot and see what you need to do. And I offer that as part of my coaching as well. So, kind of going over that and teaching that kind of stuff. Emphasizing protein-rich food. Like, I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, you need to eat mostly fat, and then a little bit of protein on these ketogenic type diets. We got to go into ketosis. I have never once checked my ketone levels or anything like that. I've never done that in my life. But I like to eat a lot of protein. The protein keeps me full. That is the one thing that will keep you full. I eat a lot of protein. I eat a lot of fat as well. Don't get me wrong. I make sure I get enough fat, but I eat a gram per pound of body weight of protein per day for myself. So I'm eating upwards of 225 to 250 grams of protein a day. You know what I mean? And then everything else is from fat. If you kind of stick to that rule of thumb, you'll be satiated, you will be full, and you will definitely get plenty of fat. I assure you of that. So that's just kind of different things that I've done, different strategies, eating slower, the increased protein, just kind of figure out ways to mitigate yourself from overeating. If you kind of fix the problem before it starts, right, that's where you'll see the best results from that. Another thing you need to think about is like weight loss plateaus. We'll be eating, we'll kind of get to a sticking point or something like that. And oftentimes that is due to overeating. So if you're trying to lose weight and the first thing you're hitting, next thing you know, a plateau, you need to sit back and actually like take a record of what you're eating. You know what I mean? Get a log and kind of just start going over what you've been eating, how much you've been eating. I know nobody came to this to track calories and shit like that. Most of us came to this diet to get away from it. But if you're hitting sticking points and you're hitting plateaus, these are things you need to think about that you might need to do just for a little bit if your weight loss stalls, if you encounter something like that, just to see if you have been overeating or if some shit that you shouldn't be eating is sneaking its way into your diet and causing you to take on too much. These are things that you might need to do. You know what I mean? And you don't have to do them forever. You know what I mean? This is all part of the human experience, the trial and error. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fuck this up once in a while. God knows I have. I've been doing this for 5 years. You think I haven't fucked my diet up once in a while just making stupid ass mistakes? I still do it from time to time. I made a hell of a lot of mistakes early on. That's a video for another time. I will definitely go into all the mistakes I made early on and continue to go on to, but there's just different things you might need to incorporate once in a while that maybe you don't want to do to keep your diet and your way of eating running efficiently. A lot of us are busy. We don't have time. We don't have kids. We have marriages and stuff like that. And I don't want to be bothered with tracking and all this kind of shit. Well, guess what? Sometimes when stuff ain't working, you got to figure it out and suck it up and dial your shit in. What else do you want me to say? I'm talking to you dads out there. You're men. We're men here. Suck it up and do it. Cultivating, like I said, those mindful eating habits, you know what I mean? Eating slower, taking a look at how much you're eating when you sit down with your plate. Like, holy shit, this is a feast for a king, but it's dinner and I've already had 2 other ones of these today. You know what I mean? Like, do I really need to have a 2,000 calorie meal 3 times a day? You know what I mean? Do I really need like 10 eggs in the morning and a whole ribeye and then a whole nother ribeye and some shrimp at lunch and then more meat with a side of meat at dinner? Like, how much are you really eating? How much do you really need to eat? You know what I mean? I've seen dudes sit and brag about, I've done it myself. I've eaten over 5,000 calories a day on this diet and lost weight. I've done it. But I've also eaten 5,000 calories a day on this diet and not lost weight. So it's just kind of things you need to look at how much you're eating, and do you really, really once in a while just need to put the fucking fork down? You know what I mean? Like, how much do you really need to eat? You can still overeat on this diet, and you need to take a good hard look at how much you're taking in, right? It is the thing. Just because you're eating really nutrient-dense foods and all this kind of stuff, and you're seeing great benefits with hormones and things like that, but you're not losing weight, guess what? You're probably overeating. It is still a thing you can do. So be aware of that and just keep all that kind of stuff in mind. And that's kind of where I'm going to leave you guys today. Like I said, down in the description of the video, go down there, go to www.lion-dads.com and get your guide starting carnivore diet. It's absolutely free. It's got a shopping list, got everything you need to get your ass started. Hit like, hit subscribe, get notifications, do all that fun stuff. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.